confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 414,185. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 7,740. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 2,102, with total confirmed deaths remaining at 77. We expect the Torrance numbers to change as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Christine Lee. It's 4 p.m. on Wednesday, December 2nd. LA County reached a new COVID-19 peak this week. The Department of Public Health confirmed the highest number of new COVID-19 cases and people hospitalized with the coronavirus. Health officials reported 7,592 new cases on Tuesday, shattering its previous record of a little more than 6,100 cases last week. Today, the county added another 5,987 new positive cases. Also, as of today, 2,439 people are hospitalized with COVID-19. That is more than any other day during this pandemic. Director of Public Health, Dr. Barbara Ferrer, says we are in the middle of an accelerating surge and need every person to use every tool available to stop the surge and save lives. That means staying home as much as possible and always wearing a face covering whenever engaging in activities outside of our homes. Dr. Ferrer re-emphasizes the importance of not mingling with those outside of our households at this time. And she says the Public Health Department's compliance teams are continuing to visit businesses daily throughout LA County, issuing citations as needed. A total of 57 citations were issued between November 8th and the 22nd at gyms, places of worship, private schools, and restaurants. A total of more than 350 citations have been issued since the end of August. The Public Health Department urged people on Twitter to avoid doing any non-essential activities for the next 3 weeks, saying people's lives depend on it. The U.S. set a record as well for the number of people currently hospitalized with COVID-19. 98,691 patients were in hospitals on Tuesday, according to the COVID Tracking Project. That is the highest number of COVID-19 hospitalizations our country has ever experienced. Some hospitals in Southern California are now at maximum capacity. Kaiser Permanente San Bernardino, which has locations in Fontana and Ontario, is reporting that 100% of its available beds are being used at both places. These facilities have seen a 220% increase in COVID-19 patients over the past 4 weeks. A doctor on site there says even though every bed is filled, the hospitals are ready to double up patients in rooms if they have to in order to maintain safe, quality patient care. Meanwhile, in Mission Hills, the Providence Holy Cross Medical Center is currently experiencing overcapacity at its ICU. A doctor there says they're overflowing to another area of the hospital to keep up with the increasing patient count and actually had to turn some patients away over the holiday weekend. Here locally, while hospitals are also seeing an influx of COVID-19 cases, they've reported that ICU beds are still readily available along with ventilators and personal protective equipment. Medical experts say the key to preventing a hospital overload is early treatment. They warn that those who wait too long before seeking treatment have the most difficult time beating the coronavirus and spend more time in the hospital. The first COVID-19 vaccines should go to healthcare workers and long-term facility residents. That's the decision a federal advisory committee to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention made on Tuesday during an emergency online meeting. The CDC estimates that most of those in these high-priority groups could be fully vaccinated by early next year if the Food and Drug Administration authorizes a vaccine by mid-December. About 24 million people are in this category, and 48 million doses would be needed to vaccinate them. The recommendations now go to the CDC director for final approval. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom became the first country to authorize a coronavirus vaccine. It formally approved the shots made by Pfizer and BioNTech today and expects to roll it out in the country next week, with elderly people in care homes and medical workers being the first to receive the doses. The CDC will soon issue a shorter quarantine guideline, reducing the number of days from 14 to as little as 7. The Public Health Institute still recommends that those infected with COVID-19 quarantine themselves for 14 days, but says it can end after 10 days if they haven't developed any symptoms, and after 7 days if the asymptomatic person also tests negative for the virus. The CDC also recently updated what it means to be in close contact with a person with COVID-19. It includes having multiple brief exposures that add up to a total of 15 minutes spent 6 feet or closer to them. The CDC's director announced the upcoming quarantine guidelines during a coronavirus task force meeting on Tuesday, saying the data-driven decision has been under review for weeks. Critical fire weather returns, putting more than 271,000 Southern California Edison customers at risk of power outages. SCE says it's monitoring conditions for a possible shutdown starting around 9 p.m. tonight and potentially lasting until Saturday. Communities surrounding the South Bay, from Ventura County to the Inland Empire, could be affected. The National Weather Service says expect a very dangerous and long-duration wind event. An SCE spokesperson says they understand that having your power turned off is a hardship, especially in the middle of a pandemic when most folks are home, and they are working to limit the number of customers who could be affected due to the company's public safety power shutoffs. The most severe conditions are expected between 6 a.m. and 3 p.m. tomorrow. Forecasters say critical fire conditions could continue into next week. Cities frustrated with the recent shutdown of in-person dining are exploring ways to potentially break away from the county's Department of Public Health and create their own agency. Torrance City Council also had a heated discussion last night where several members expressed concerns about how this new order could destroy businesses in our community. They also disagreed with the county's decision to ban in-person dining until at least December 20th. On Monday night, the South Bay City's Council of Governments took unanimous action to request that California Governor Gavin Newsom and the county's Board of Supervisors consider allowing regional areas such as the South Bay to be viewed within a region-specific lens. Supervisors were asked to re-vote on the dining ban decision as well and requested funding to help struggling businesses. City leaders from Beverly Hills, Whittier, Lancaster, Hawaiian Gardens, and many more also oppose the restaurant shutdown and are exploring alternatives, such as establishing its own health department or a regional one with neighboring cities. Pasadena is currently the only city in LA County that is still open for outdoor dining because its public health department decided not to follow the LA County's order. The Torrance City Council met last night to conduct city business. Among the agenda items discussed in detail was LA County's orders regarding COVID-19. Mayor Patrick Fury said he reached out to Supervisors Catherine Barger and Janice Hahn, and Supervisor Hahn noted that all 88 cities in the county oppose the outdoor dining ban. City leaders debated on how to proceed, noting that they could become legally liable should they go against the county's orders. They decided to continue discussing this matter next week. City Council members also agreed to reinvestigate the potential for starting an independent or regional health department. And retiring Community Services Department Director John Jones was applauded for his 4 decades of public service to the city of Torrance. A resolution was read and Jones called in to thank the city for the many years of wonderful memories. He hands over the reins to newly appointed Director John LaRocque. And commission vacancies were appointed last night as well, with many new faces joining the cultural art, environmental, historic preservation, and library commissions. The city clerk will conduct the oath of office at a later date. The nearly 4-hour meeting will be replayed both on our channel and online. E-commerce giant Amazon announced that this year's holiday shopping season was the biggest in the company's history. It expected to break records during Black Friday and Cyber Monday and says independent businesses selling on the platform exceeded $4.8 billion in worldwide sales during those timeframes. That's up 60% from the year before. Some of the best-selling items in the U.S. include Amazon's new Echo Dot, President Barack Obama's new book called A Promised Land, Revlon's one-step hair dryer and volumizer hot air brush, and a nostalgic toy, Light Bright Ultimate Classic. Adobe Analytics says Black Friday shopping is up 21% compared to last year, with consumers spending $9 billion. And Cyber Monday was the largest U.S. shopping day ever, with $10.8 billion in sales. That's up more than 15% from the previous year. Beauty retailer Sephora is set to open mini shops inside Kohl's department stores. 200 locations will debut in the fall of 2021. Each mini shop will be 2,500 square feet and will replace the current beauty section inside Kohl's. Staff members trained by Sephora will be on site to help customers. This partnership will replace the one that Sephora has had with JCPenney since 2006, which will end in the next few years. Eventually, Kohl's expects to have up to 850 Sephora shops inside its stores by 2023. Sephora products will also be available to purchase online on Kohl's website starting late next year. This deal comes shortly after Sephora's competition, Ulta Beauty, revealed its plans to open mini shops inside Target starting next year. Randy's Donuts celebrates its grand opening in Torrance this week. The world-famous donut chain's newest location is on Hawthorne Boulevard near Lomita Boulevard. Randy's handmade donuts have been around since 1962. Its original spot in Inglewood has a giant rooftop donut that attracts visitors from all over the world. It's also been a part of many movies, music videos, and TV programs. Consistently named one of the top donut shops in the country for decades, customers can taste 60 different varieties of its sweet treats. The business has expanded in recent years throughout Southern California and now even has a location in South Korea. As we inch closer to Christmas, a local tradition was canceled out of an abundance of caution and concern for the community's safety during this pandemic. The Torrance Police Officers Association announced with deep sadness and heavy hearts that the 51st annual visit of Santa Claus riding a custom-built float throughout neighborhoods in Torrance will have to take a rain check. Santa usually visits 22 Torrance neighborhoods starting this week. Organizers say they know this will come as an enormous disappointment, not only to residents, but also to the police officers who look forward to bringing this joyful tradition to kids of all ages. They say it's not a decision they have taken lightly, but say it's a necessary one to make sure everyone is staying safe as coronavirus hospitalizations continue to soar. As you may be aware, starting this Monday, all public and private gatherings with people from different households are banned in LA County, with the exception of protests and religious services. Residents in general understood the need to cancel this annual tradition. Some wrote on Facebook that they look forward to the float's return next year and thanked the organizers for their dedication. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Well, it's Small Business Week in Torrance, a time for us to support local stores and restaurants hit hard by COVID-19. The Torrance Chamber of Commerce has a list of businesses that we could reach out to, and some have great deals through this Saturday. For example, mention Torrance Chamber or Small Business Week and get 10% off your tab at Absolution Brewing Company, 20% off at Bravo Music School, or 50% off select trees at Moon Valley Nurseries. What a great way to lift each other up and show support for one another, especially during the holidays. Now, if you have a great story to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as Ben McCain brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.